Now with Science in Action.
Remember, on the line it is
This is the Milton Keynes Bowl, annual meeting place for the local cycle club. It's also the venue for some rather unusual bicycles, because mixed amongst the traditional machines are things like this. The Miles Kingsbury Beam, which is a human-powered vehicle, or HPV for short. These are homemade machines and come in an enormous range of shapes and sizes. Most of these people belong to the Human-Powered Vehicle Club of Great Britain. The machines are built from a collection of standard bike pieces and specially made frames. In all of these HPVs, the rider almost lies down to pedal the machine. This is called a semi-recumbent riding position.
So Bluebell is the big one at the back, and that's ridden by Glenn Thompson. Here we are, roll and start. A rolling start, lads. Tense moments, these. Right, if you'd like to start them off now, it's a rolling start down to the line, and it's 10 laps now. Away they go. Remember, it is a time adjusted handicap race, so obviously they're all going to get spread around the course.
Two, three, and even four wheels are used, and anything from a simple windshield to a kind of elaborate car body built around the rider. All this, of course, means that they're bound to be a lot heavier. And sometimes a lot less stable than ordinary bikes. So how do they compare with a good quality racing bike and professional rider? The best comparison is in the time trial. Here, the rider is timed over a distance of 1.1 kilometres.
So there we are, coming around the top corner is the third professional to go, Steve Sefton. He'll be winding the gear up now down the finishing straight. There he is.
The rider gets going on a warm-up lap and is up to full speed the second time round.
Inch of speed, he hits the line now, flat out, and the button is pressed on the watch. Flags probably not blowing as much as it has been, so that won't give them too much assistance down the finishing straight. And that could possibly help the HPVs later on. Right, Sefton's been away for 1 minute and 3 seconds. Here he is round the top corner, so he really is driving on. Sefton going for the fastest time of the day. Come on then, let's give him a round of applause. Burying himself, Steve Sefton comes to the line now. 1:19.14, no, Fagan beat him, so Sefton died a little bit over the closing yards, and still the fastest time that of Ian Fagan's.
Let's try again with a three-wheeler, the Speedy, ridden by Andy Pegg from Norwich.
So Andy Pegg is on right, Pegg on his way.
After Andy's warm-up lap, how do you think he'll compare with the fastest professional cyclists at 1 minute, 18.09 seconds?
Because of the bad weather conditions, it'll be interesting to see how close they get to the time of Ian Fagan. Right, he's inside the time set by the bicycles. I'm told by the timekeeper. Here he is coming into view. Andy Pegg. Come on, let's give him a round of applause. His vision is very much impeded. Pegg then looking through the side. Look, he's going. What's his time? 1:14.93. So there we are, has the standard set already. 1:14.93, quickest time of the day.
This week we're looking at a few ideas to make cycling easier, whether it be racing or just riding around the streets. Those human-powered vehicles, or HPVs for short, really were quite unbelievable. And this one is similar to the machine that won the time trials. And here's the man that rode it, Andy Pegg. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Terry.
How comfortable is it riding one of those things?
It's like riding in an armchair.
But how can you get the push?
Well, because your back is fully supported, you get a very powerful pedalling thrust.
What about going up hills there?
That's their only disadvantage. Because they're heavier than racing bikes, you tend to take it a lot easier.
But a lot of fun to ride,
Yes.
aren't they? But the big question is, why is this bike faster than an ordinary bike? And to help answer that, here's Miles Kingsbury, who designs HPVs. And you're riding an ordinary racing bike, and that can't go nearly as fast as the Speedy here, can it?
That's right. At the sort of speeds we were racing at, about 30 miles an hour, 90% of the rider's energy is used just pushing the bicycle through the air.
That means 100% minus 90%. That means 10%, only 10% of your energy is spent actually getting the bike along the road, doesn't it? But of course the position you ride in is going to make a difference, isn't it?
Yes, I think if you look at the difference in the riding position between the standard bicycle and the Speedy, you'll see a lot of difference.
Because you're virtually standing up there, aren't you? Which means the whole of your body is trying to push its way through the air. Whereas Andy, in that position, there's just his feet and the top of his chest and his head, and therefore much less trying to push its way through the air, isn't there?
An interesting comparison is if you imagine trying to throw a beach ball into a 20-mile-an-hour headwind as compared with just a golf ball. Obviously, the golf ball's going to go a lot further.
There's a lot less of it to get through the air.
That's right.
But of course, it's not just riding position, is it, that makes a difference?
No, the probably a more important factor is the shape of the device. We designed these vehicles with streamlined shells so that the air can travel smoothly around the machine.
A bit like a knife cutting through the air then, isn't it? Which is why, of course, Andy would normally have his fairing over the top of his Speedy here, wouldn't he? But even on an ordinary bike, you can see if the riding position could make a difference. You could try some time trials yourself, choose about a half-mile stretch of safe road, and time how long it takes from start to finish. First in this position, which is the upright touring position, and then in this one, which is the smoother, more streamlined racing position. Give each rider a go at both positions, but give them a rest between tests to get their strength back. And it is important to try and keep all the other conditions like weather and wind the same, and you'll soon see how difficult that one can be. So why don't we see more of these human-powered vehicles around since they are so fast? Well, for a start, they're very heavy and they are expensive. And of course, we can't all get up to 30 miles an hour to make the savings worthwhile, especially if you live in a town. But if you are interested, the British HPV Club run a competition for the design of workable machines like the Bean and the Speedy that you've seen. You can even make a Speedy yourself from this kit if you've got the workshop facilities.
After wind resistance, the second biggest thing which affects the performance of a bike is not difficult to change. Here we are outside our studios, and this is Mike Burrows who designed the Speedy. So show us what makes the next difference, Mike.
It's the little bit on the bottom, your tyre and its contact with the road and the rolling resistance factor.
And rolling resistance, that's how hard it is for the bike to roll freely.
That's right, and the simplest way to change that is by altering the pressure in the tyre.
Oh, great. We set up a very simple experiment to find out how the pressure in the tyre affects the speed of the bike as it rolls down a slope. Couldn't be simpler. All we're going to do is time how long it takes Mike and the bike to roll down this hill. Now, I've marked out a fixed length. There's 2 white lines, and you've got to roll between them, Mike, but there's a bit more.
That's right, I've got a stopwatch here. I'll clock it on the first white line as I start moving and off on the second one. But I'll be very careful not to try and propel myself by pedalling between the lines.
No pedalling. It's absolutely under the bike's own weight and your weight, of course, as well.
OK, and we're off.
There you go, Mike, in your own time. It's quite difficult not to pedal when you're going down just to get started, but it's quite important to do it. The hill's a little bit short and it's a bit steep as well for this experiment. A slightly longer hill would be better, but we're going to get a result, hopefully. Pass him over the second line. OK, Mike, how long?
Yeah, 15 seconds, Jargon.
15 seconds. Mike powers his way back up the hill. That was done with fully inflated tyres. They were inflated hard. Here he comes. They're under a lot of pressure, these tyres. And I can show you with me little gauge. How do you feel?
Bit tough.
It's always uphills the hardest. There, that's the bit I want. Right, I'll put this little pressure gauge on here. What happens is the air inside the tyre is pushing out on the tyre wall, and that's what creates the pressure. And if I push that on there, you can see the needle has gone up, showing how much pressure there is in the tyre. Now, I'm going to let some air out of the tyres, thereby reducing the pressure. You push down.
Down and give you an idea of what's happening.
See the old tyre getting
Bottom
flatter?
there.
There. Now a bit more.
Bit more out will give us a good idea of what the difference is.
Yeah, I can see it going flatter now. How are we doing?
Yep, that should
Yeah,
do
the
nicely,
needles
Joe.
are the edging. Oh yeah, the tyre looks quite
Yeah,
flat.
oh,
You can
that's-
actually see the tyre's much flatter now. Okay, less air in the tyres, therefore less to push against the walls and less pressure. Okay, Mike, same thing again. No pedalling, no
Yep.
cheating.
A bit more wobbly, maybe.
Probably. In your own time.
Okay, we're off.
As I say, on your bike, Mike. Yeah, he is a bit wobbly to start with, but he'll be okay when he's picked up speed. Incidentally, it's not very good for your bike tyres having them under low pressure. It's quite important to keep them blown up, but for the sake of an experiment, it won't hurt just this once. That's him over his line. Okay, Mike, what time this time?
Nearly 18 that time, Jarden.
18 seconds. 18 seconds. So, in fact, just down that short slope, having a soft front tyre meant that it took another 3 seconds. It's really slowed the bike up. You like that ride?
It'll get steeper.
Right. To try and find out why the soft tyre slows the bike up, it's useful to know how much of the tyre is in contact with the road. And to do that, we're going to take a print. Playtime, Mike.
Yes, you'll like this bit.
Just an ink pad is this. We put it on the floor.
I'm holding the brake on the front wheel so it won't turn. Very steadily on and sit back on the bike, put all your weight on the tyre,
Yeah, plenty of ink on the
and
thing.
off.
There we go.
And
Here's
the
just
same-
a bit of squared paper.
Don't let it turn. Line it up with the squares, gently on,
Yeah. And the
all your
same
weight.
weight's pushing down there as well
And off
when you
again,
were,
no?
when you were going down the hill.
That's what happens on the road.
There, look at that. Nice clean print. We use squared paper because it's easy to judge how big the print is. Now what we want you to do is we want you to take a print not only with a soft tyre but also with a hard tyre and then compare the two. And by doing that you should be able to work out why having a soft tyre slows the bike down. Recently an entirely new breed of bicycle has become popular. Called mountain bikes, they're made with strong frames and fitted with fat tyres and very low gears. These bikes are used to test the skills of riders over difficult cross-country courses. The bikes have to be kept under absolutely precise control, which sometimes needs unusual riding techniques.
Okay. Well, I have to say that, but you cleared it. Well done.
One of the most difficult events is this, the hill climb. At nearly 45 degrees, you have to have a lot of strength in those legs. But if you think riding up is difficult, then just look at this.
This is known as the Himalayan technique, okay, perfected over years up in the above 11,000 foot region.
However, not everybody comes down quite so painfully.
Nice. Well done. Oh, yeah. Well done. Very good.
If you're out riding and you're interested in finding out about how well you're getting on, then one of these can be very useful. It's a new kind of speedometer and it gives you all sorts of information. Your current speed in kilometres an hour, like this. It's got a stopwatch here. There's the distance travelled so far. There's the average speed. And there's the highest speed I've managed so far. All of this is done by measuring complete wheel revolutions. On the spokes at the back is mounted a small magnet. And when it passes a sensor, a simple reed switch, the signal is sent to the cycle computer, which works out the speed. And this is how it's done. If I make this wheel travel through one complete revolution, like this, the distance it travels is 2.1 metres. Now, say that it took 2 seconds to travel that distance. Then the speed it was travelling at is worked out like this. Speed equals distance over time. That's 2.1 metres over 2 seconds. Now let's just try that. 2.1 divided by 2 equals 1.05 metres per second. And of course you can work out what that is in kilometres or miles per hour. And that's exactly what the cycle computer is doing all the time. Of course, different bikes have different size wheels, and so the distance that the bike can travel in one rotation of the wheel, the circumference, will also be different. And so you have to put that into the computer before you start. Anyway, we thought that the cycle computer would help us compare the performance of 2 different bikes. So take a look at this.
Keep an eye on the figures. The top one is the speed, the other is the time.
2, 1, go. Go.
So it's up to you to make the comparison. The graph made from the cycle computer readings will show just how each of the bikes performed over the complete test run. Good luck.
Finally, why don't you try this? Get a friend to hold the bike, balance it like Terry's doing for me, and put the pedal down at the bottom. Now, if I push the pedal backwards, what do you think will happen to the bike? You work it out for yourself.
Do you know this bike folds up?
Oh, what? Not
Okay,
now.
go on it.
I like this one. This is the cracker for me. Oh, thanks, Andy.
Pick yourself down.
And another new science series begins tomorrow morning, investigating scientists and how they go about their work. It begins at 10:38 here on BBC Two tomorrow morning. We continue today in just under 3 minutes with Watch.